September 10th, 2025, episode 598, episode 598. Let's go. Of course, I have a few things to share with you guys. Shall we? A 22-year-old stabs man in neck who spent the night with her and then called her a derogatory term afterward. Where the wild things are. 2 days, bro? Really? You woke up next to her in broad daylight and decided to make it a combo? Come on, you had to win. She invited you over so you don't have to open up your crib or pay for a hotel. Guaranteed sex on the first night. She invited you over and apparently you had a good time because you decided to stick around, but that's where you messed up at. You were supposed to get the hell out of there. Tell her you gotta go to work. Even if you don't have a job, just bounce before her carriage turns back into a pumpkin. A Florida woman, Florida, welcome back. After the story of the woman beating her man with the Christmas tree, there's nothing that does not fit into the Florida bucket. Allegedly met a man online and then tried killing him 2 days later while spending the night together, plunging a knife into the back of his neck after he called her a derogatory term for people with intellectual disabilities. Cops say he called her a retard. Zariana Marshall, Zariana, just a Scrabble nightmare of a first name, 22, is charged with attempted murder in connection with a Saturday night attack in the 400 block of Southeast 35th Avenue in Homestead, according to court records. A criminal complaint obtained by Law and Crime on Tuesday accuses Marshall of meeting the victim online. It always starts online. Everyone's a sweetheart online until they're stabbing you in the neck in person, and then inviting him to her residence to spend the night. While there, the two of them allegedly got into a verbal altercation. Listen, I don't know if you fed her after midnight or got her wet after midnight, but you had more than enough time to get the hell out of there before you seen that side of her. It's something about women who are a little too comfortable inviting over total strangers, and men might think that she's hot and ready or she's just into you like that, but it could quite possibly be more of a step into my parlor, said the spider to the fly type of situation. She's not afraid of an unruly visitor because the unruly visitor should be very cautious of her. The victim began to gather his belongings in order to leave, the complaint says. It keeps reminding me of that scene in Rocky 4 when Apollo is getting beat up by Drago and the guy in the corner keeps saying, "Get out of there." Marshall allegedly began to go through the victim's pockets attempting to locate rolling paper used to smoke marijuana, according to police. This prompted the victim to allegedly call her out with a derogatory term. How much you want to bet the whole argument started from smoking weed in the first place? She probably wanted to roll up the last one and he wanted to save the last one to smoke to himself, something crazy like that. The victim told the subject she was retarded and the subject replied, "You want to see retarded?" The complaint states the subject then armed herself with a knife and stabbed the victim once in the back of the neck. He came up with the best possible term he could think of to describe her behavior at the time. And damn it, he was spot on. Used the right tool for the job. Now here's 2 ways he could have went about it. He could have said, "Hey, I've been over your crib for 2 days. Thanks for having me. I had a great time. Take the papers, take some weed. I'll get some more. And when you leave, you never have to talk to her again ever unless you get her pregnant." And the second way was to just not have been there in the first place. You could have been out of the door with your papers still in your pocket before she even woke up after day one. The Homestead Police Department received a 911 call and responded to the scene at around 9:05 p.m. Saturday. These are peak weekend hours. You've been there since Thursday, dog. Officers located the victim and transported him to a local hospital for treatment. Detectives spoke to him about the alleged attack while he was in the hospital, the complaint says. The victim stated he met Marshall on social media 2 days ago, police allege. The subject invited him to her residence and he spent the night. Let's review this popular term, spent the night. Spent means it's exhausted, it's done, it's over, there are no more. And night is a singular term, meaning one night was spent, meaning there are no more nights, it's over, one night. Authorities later showed the victim a photo lineup and he allegedly pointed out, Marshall, that's that bitch. Authorities returned to the young woman's residence on Saturday and arrested her. The subject stated the incident was self-defense, the complaint says. The subject stated the victim punched her once in the face and she armed herself with a knife and stabbed the victim in the back of the neck, self-defense. It adds the subject had no signs of injury and would not allow officers to photograph her. Doesn't quite help your self-defense claim, sweetie. Court records show that Marshall is currently on probation and was on a monitored release. What is that? An ankle bracelet house arrest program at the time of the alleged attack. Oh, she's gonna get violated. She was arrested for armed robbery in July, domestic battery in 2023. You messing with a thug. And battery in 2022. Marshall is due in court on September 9th for the attempted murder charge. You sure know how to pick them. Of course, I love to hear your thoughts on this. I love to hear your opinions on this. Who thinks this was just a bad first date and they need to get back together and give love a second chance? Impersonating local judges. Man fools jail workers into thinking he's a judge, gets inmate out by changing his bond. I've caught a few escape stories over the years. This is the most cartoon way someone has ever got out. You mean to tell me all it took was one phone call? Is this the jail? Yeah, this is the jail. Who's this? This is the judge. Judge who? Judge these nuts. Let that man out. Sure, judge. Let him out. I mean, it's better than stealing a CO's uniform. It's better than escaping in a dumpster like those Ohio inmates did a couple years ago. It's even better than getting a birthday cake with a file in it. A man was able to successfully impersonate a judge to get an inmate's bond reduced, enabling his release from jail before authorities caught on to the con, a sheriff's office in Louisiana said. Now, I don't work for the Department of Corrections, but I'm pretty sure it's kindergarten 101 to verify a release before you let an inmate go. Adrian St. James Romaine, 42, faces a slew of charges, including false impersonation, assisting escape, attempted simple escape, and injuring public records. Injuring public records is real. It's just a fancy way of saying manipulating records. He was arrested on Tuesday on an unrelated warrant, the Calcasieu Parish Sheriff's Department said in a news release, and subsequently handed the other charges for impersonating local judges. The story, as authorities tell it, began in April when someone called the Calcasieu Correctional Center claiming to be a local judge. They were able to verbally reduce an inmate's bond to released on reconnaissance, the sheriff's office said. So a judge seemingly phoned in a bail reduction, which is not uncommon. It's not unheard of, but it wasn't a video call and you didn't receive a fax, an email, or any other correspondence from his office to back this up. At this point, it's just the basics of covering your own ass. Hey, judge, you put in for this bail reduction, right? Hell no. It's pizza night with my prostitutes. You know I never do business on pizza night with my prostitutes. See, crisis averted. The inmate, 46-year-old Damon Lynn Delahousse Sr., one hell of a name, according to local NBC affiliate KPLC, was released on that fraudulent bond in June. It was only when Delahousse appeared for a court hearing on July 17th that authorities discovered the release had been granted under false pretenses. He was then immediately arrested and booked back into the Calcasieu Correctional Center, the sheriff's office said. Delahousse is in jail on an aggravated assault charge. Court records show the relationship between him and St. Romaine is unclear. So was he skimming the inmate list and just picked a random name, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, or did he actually know this guy? I ask because if this was planned on both ends, there's no way this man shows up to court. This is something you do and go on the run. He showed up to court basically not knowing knowing that he was a fugitive. That had to be an unpleasant surprise. Yeah, you escaped jail. I escaped what? You let me out. You opened the door and told me to leave. But Saint Romain was reportedly intent on continuing this alleged deception. He is said to have attempted 2 more calls in July, again impersonating a judge in an effort to set another fraudulent bond on the same inmate. However, he was unsuccessful, and detectives identified Saint Romain as their suspect, though he has been arrested with help from the U.S. Marshal Service in charge. The investigation is still continuing, the authorities said. As of Wednesday, Saint Romain's bond had not yet been set. Of course, I'd love to hear your opinions on this. I love to hear your thoughts on this. If you really want to help someone on the other side of that wall, the best thing you could possibly do is not join them. Fun show, fun show, fun show. The music for this episode is from Juice Beats. Get your music from Juice Beats. I'll leave the contact information down at the bottom. If you're a producer and you would like to have your music featured on an episode of this podcast, reach out to me on any one of my socials. I'll leave the info up top right here. Don't forget to follow me on my socials. Find me wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. I am there. That being said, I'm going to wrap this one up, but I'll be sure to talk to you guys very, very soon. Jusqu'à la prochaine fois. Is this the jail? Yeah, this is the judge. Judge who? Judge D's is nuts. Let him out. Sure thing, Judge. Let him out.